I'm doing a new series on my channel where we're gonna be doing different sewing projects with fat quarters. I'm gonna be showing you all the cool things you can do with fat quarters. These are gonna be great projects if you're trying to get into sewing and you wanna kind of do small projects to kind of just learn. These are gonna be great projects for that. They're gonna make, some of them are gonna make great gifts. Like, we're gonna do a bunch of stuff with fat quarters. And fat quarters are pretty inexpensive. Like, one fat quarter at Walmart is like $1.47. So they're really inexpensive. So get excited. The first project we're gonna do is going to be making this drawstring bag. Look how big that is. I use this as a project bag. I put like my sewing projects that I'm working on, I put them in here. What's really nice about this bag is that the seams are enclosed, so you don't gotta worry about it fraying. I made this bag almost 2 years ago, I think, like a year and a half ago. It's still holding up really well. Super easy and quick to make. So if you wanna learn how to make this bag, just keep watching. If you're new to my channel, my name is Leslie. My channel is all about crafting on a budget. I do mostly sublimation and sewing videos, but I do some Cricut videos here and there. If any of those things interest you, please consider subscribing, joining my YouTube family, and let's jump into this video. For this project, you're gonna need one fat quarter. You're gonna need some ribbon. This ribbon is actually from Dollar Tree, and it's this big old roll. Like, how much is in here? 75 feet, so 25 yards of satin ribbon. You can do sublimation on this if you wanted to. Along with that, you're gonna need a lighter to melt your edges so that it doesn't fray. You're also gonna need an iron and an ironing board, as well as your sewing machine. Start off by ironing your fabric because it's gonna have all these creases from being folded up into a fat quarter. Once you have ironed your fabric, you're gonna flip it to the wrong side and you're going to fold over about a 1/4 and then take your iron and press that down all the way around. So now that you have pressed down all your edges by 1/4 of an inch, you're going to take your two short edges and you're gonna fold it over at 1 inch. You can take something like a seam gauge or your ruler, measure 1 inch, and then mark that down if you need to kind of know where your inch is. And then just take your iron and press it down, just like that. And you want to do that for both of your short edges. Now that you have folded in both of your short sides, we're gonna take this to a sewing machine and you're just going to top stitch right here and close your casing. Whenever I top stitch, I like to use my top stitching foot or edge joining foot. You wanna make sure your edges are still folded in, and you're just gonna top stitch that very edge down. I'm gonna make sure to back stitch at the beginning and end just to reinforce it. I move my needle over to 2. And for me, the top stitching foot just helps a lot because you have this little guide here that runs on the edge of that. This is also a stitch in the ditch foot. You have this little guide here that runs along this, and it just helps me have a straight stitch all the way through. Back stitch at the end. And now you have that casing enclosed, and now you want to do the exact same thing on the other side. So now that you have top stitch, you're gonna take your fabric, flip it right sides, put your short edges together. You wanna line up your seams right here, and I'm just gonna clip at the top just to keep that in place. Now you're gonna take this to your sewing machine and you're gonna sew just to the left of your 1/4 edge right here. You wanna make sure that you don't stitch on this because we're gonna be needing this to be able to flip out. So just sew a little bit to the left of that. Now you want to make sure to start sewing right below your casing, not on your casing. So just right below it. So sew just to the left of that all the way through. If you need to, you can also put some painter's tape or something as a guide to where to line up your fabric. That way it's just a little helpful. And you want to repeat that on the other side as well. Now that you have sewed it just to the right of that, you're gonna take that seam and you're gonna fold it onto itself. So just fold it over. So basically you're just taking the seam, folding it over. That's all you're gonna do all the way around, all the way up to where your casing is. You don't wanna do it on your casing because, or else you would pretty much sew it shut. So you're just folding it over on both sides like that. And this is just enclosing your seams so that it doesn't fray. And now you're gonna take this over to your sewing machine and you're just gonna top stitch that from right here underneath your casing all the way down. So now that you have top stitched this side down, you can flip your bag right side out, poke out your corners, and now we can work on getting our ribbon here. So once you have flipped it right side out, we're gonna take our ribbon and we're gonna figure out how long we want it. I think this is personal preference, but I'm just bringing it around, seeing how long I want it. And then I'm just gonna take scissors and I'm going to cut that. And if you want, you can cut it at an angle and then take your lighter and just melt your edge. So you take your lighter and you put it close to it, but not directly on it. So you can do that with both sides. Just trim it, take your lighter, put it close to it, but not directly on it, just enough to melt it. This is gonna keep it from fraying. And we're gonna do a double drawstring. So whatever size you cut this, you wanna cut another one exactly the same size. Okay, so now you want something like a bodkin or a safety pin. Bodkin just looks like this. And take one side of your ribbon and just slide it down. And we're gonna enter it through one of our little sides, entrances of our casing. And you're just gonna kind of scrunch it up and then pull. You wanna make sure that your ribbon is not flipping over. So then when you come to the other side, you wanna take it out a little bit and then enter it through this other side. Again, making sure that your ribbon is not twisting. You want to make it all the way to your other side. And you want to be gentle with this because you don't want to lose your ribbon and then have to start all over again. So just pull it through and you want to even out your corners here. So kind of just hold those together and then open this up till it's flat. And then now you can take your ribbon and you can tie a little knot at the corner, pulling really good. And then now we're gonna take our other ribbon, and we're gonna put our bodkin or safety pin on one edge. And now we started, so with this one we started on this end and we went all the way to this one. Now we're gonna start on the other side that has no ribbon on there. And you want it to lay flat. You want to make sure your ribbons are even, and then tie a knot. Just like that. And now you'll have a double drawstring little project bag that works. See, you open it. And it's pretty spacious. Like you can see, this fits a decent amount of things. I love, love, love this bag. So simple. Your edges are fully enclosed, so you don't gotta worry about it fraying. And if you want to, before you sew your sides, you can top stitch up here just so that this doesn't pop out or anything like that. But look how big that is. Simple project with a fat quarter bag. So easy to do.